See, I told you, this is why Michael Jordan is the much better player than LeBron James. No, LeBron, he's up to 37,000 points. Jordan can never do that. LeBron is way better than Michael Jordan. All right, guys, I wanted to start this series, and I don't know. I'm either going to title it Silly Sports Arguments or Arguments that Sports Fans should not make in 2022. I haven't decided on it yet. You'll see the title. I guess this will be episode 1 of this series, however long it lasts. But episode 1, this will be about, let's stop comparing eras. And I'm guilty of this. I think all of us sports fans are guilty of this because let's be honest, comparing is fun. Comparing in sports is fun. And comparing players from all different type of team eras, leagues is fun. And it's fun to have these arguments. But let's be honest here. The comparing players from different eras, comparing teams from different eras is not logical, in my opinion. I know it's a cliche, but it's like comparing apples to oranges. You're comparing two completely different games. For example, I'm going to use basketball a lot for this example. I used the MJ-LeBron debate earlier, and first of all, MJ and LeBron were very two different players with two very different play styles. That's number one. Number two, the league shape out was very different. Superstars weren't joining together, at least at this rate. I mean, there were super teams, but it wasn't guys wanting out and could go pretty much wherever they wanted. Teams and owners had a lot more power back then. Also, the rules were a whole lot different. Defenses were very different, and yes, it was more physical back then, but physical doesn't actually mean better. And for the people that say, oh, the 80s and 90s was the toughest era to scoring, that's actually not true. Maybe Jordan's last 2 or 3 years into the early 2000s was the lowest scoring era in NBA history. So that's minus like the 40s or 50s when it first started, it was scoring like 60 points a game. But yeah, at least in the modern era, it was like the early 2000s that was like the toughest era to score in. So for example, we talk about MJ and LeBron, you're talking about two different players in two different eras with two completely different ways of going about playing on both ends of the floor. And this doesn't translate to basketball. Football is the same thing. You can't compare Jerry Rice with DeAndre Hopkins because the rules were very different. You can put your hands on the receiver a lot more. It was more physical era back then too. Oh, and the worst one, let me tell you what the worst argument is. The worst argument is, oh, if you drop LeBron back in the 80s or if you drop Jordan now, then like they will be completely different players. That, again, not a logical argument. Because if you wanna make that hypothetical, wouldn't it be fair to say, okay, if you drop Jordan in today's game, shouldn't he grow up like all the kids who are playing now grew up? Shouldn't he grow up with social media? Shouldn't he grow up in the AAU circuit? Shouldn't he grow up in those type of things and then see? So it's not a fair argument, and most importantly, that's not going to lead to an answer. It's just going to lead to more and more hypotheticals. Yeah, that's my little rant on comparing eras. I'm guilty of this as well, so I don't want to act self-righteous in this or something, but yeah, I think it's something that us sports fans honestly should stop doing. But let me know what you guys think. I probably made a couple of y'all mad by making this video, but yeah, let me know what you guys think, and feel free to put your argument in the comments.